AI will be in your packet, both online and offline. Everything will be done through AI. Will it replace human being? No. It will make the human being more powerful. Those who knows how to use it will find a better way to become a more powerful, more productive.
We believe AI is going to transform every business. As I said before, there won't be a business that wouldn't be impacted in one way or the other. So I think for each one of us over here, we need to understand what it is, we need to look at it, and we need to try and be associated with it one way or the other.
Warm welcome to what I think is the beginning of a transition in the program as we begin to explore the use case for AI, what it means. And a lot has been said about this over the last 12 months. But we have with us today Mr. Mohammad Al Balooshi, who heads the Tech and Innovation Hub and the FinTech Hive for the DIFC. DIFC over the last 15 years has emerged as a real force in terms of international finance. But more importantly, over the last 7 years, we have seen this hub now become the epicenter of FinTech in the GCC region. Welcome, Mohammed. We're going to be speaking a lot about what you've done.
Thank you.
And then someone who needs no introduction, Lakshmi Naranayan. Many of you see him as chairman of SWFI, co-chair of the Patel Family Office, AUM of $12 billion. But we also see him as somebody who has invested in many tech companies, so many, with a career that goes way back, 12, 15, 30, 20 years of investing in technology, and more recently in artificial intelligence. So this evening, we're going to have a free-flowing conversation. What does AI mean? How is it evolving? And we're going to touch on a few things around the ethics of AI, which I think for many people has become very, very important. So let me start, first of all, with Mohammed. You've done so well recently. But can you start by telling us and walking us back to the journey of the IFC, the Tech Hub, and particularly what has happened to it in the last 3 or 4 years, or going back 7 years, over the last growth period that we have seen for the DIFC Tech Hub?
Sure. So DIFC stands for Dubai International Financial Center, which was established in the year 2004 with the prime agenda of diversifying Dubai's economy. Dubai, of course, is known as a trade hub, as a tourist hub. I think it was early 2000s when the leadership wanted to also position Dubai as a financial hub. That was, of course, the ambition. But then the question was, how do we go about that? How do we create a financial center within the city of Dubai that is international and is able to attract everyone globally? When everyone came together, it was decided that we will take this piece of land, which is 125 acres of land, that is exempt from the UAE mainland rules and regulations. It is based on English common law. It has its own financial regulator, and it has its own court system. This was the first time within the entire region something like that is created. So it's more like a city within a city. And that concept was created so we could go and tell the top financial institutions in the world, the likes of JP Morgan's, the Goldman's, the top Chinese, the top European, the top Indian, and we can tell them, come to Dubai, where we can guarantee you a jurisdiction that is no different than a London, New York, or Singapore. Now, if you go back in time, the region, of course, is based on civil law and Sharia law, and everything is in Arabic. And I think if you tell an international company that I'll give you exactly what you're getting in your current jurisdiction, it makes it very easy for them to make that decision. And I think since that framework was established, we've been able to attract anyone and everyone. There isn't a name that comes to your mind doesn't have presence in the DIFC from the financial services world. 10, 15 years into our journey, today we have about 5,000 plus entities, 40,000 people work in the center day in, day out. But I think it was 2015, 2016 when we started looking at innovation. It was clear to us that our future would be driven by innovation. Financial services is being disrupted. So how do we now, within the financial sector, create a fintech hub as well? How do we create the fintech hub for the city of Dubai? And that's where we started looking at what does a complete ecosystem require. We started looking at accelerator programs. One of the things that was quite interesting, we had to convince a lot of people that we have to look at startups in a very different fashion than what we're used to, because we were used to serving banks and large institutions. How do we create an ecosystem that could serve startups? So we've looked, we created the right kind of offices, the right kind of licensing requirements, accelerator programs. We have a fund, we invest into startups as well. And today, I think 7 years down the road, we have about 800 plus startups. It's the largest of its kind. And yeah, continues to grow. I think we have the Innovation Hub ecosystem today spans over more than 300,000 square feet.
It's fantastic. Now we're going to switch quickly to Lakshmi. We can discuss technology all we want. At the end of the day, technology is only as useful as its application. We have seen you invest through what has happened in the last 5 years, particularly in finance. We have seen fintech, we have seen blockchains. Today now it's all about AI. How do you, as an investor, look at AI and how do you see it evolving? And I'm going to switch back to you to answer the same question, Mohammed. But you tell me, through all the investments you have made through your portfolio of technology investments, what do you see today as the evolution of AI, the use case, and why you're investing in it?
So let's go to the basics. In the last 25 years or 10 years, we have seen a drastic change from the way how we shop, the way how we communicate, the way how we propagate a message, the way we create our profile, the way we how socially get connected, the way how we express ourselves in a public domain. Everything has changed. One aspect still has an opportunity to change, the way how we think. AI is going to change the way how humans think. If the thinking pattern itself can be challenged, so let me put it in a different way now. Most of us have sense, but very less people have got something called a common sense. There's a difference between a sense and common sense. Current AI is a sense. I have, based on certain finite information, with that finite information, I'm generating a content and I'm throwing the content out. That's sense. But with the finite information, the finite data, if I can apply a little bit a common thought process to this, and I can come out with the practical way of expressing it, that becomes a common sense. It's a simple human nature. There's no rocket science. Somebody is cold, sneezing, coughing, they're asking for water. You go and bring a hot water, it's a common sense. But somebody still go and bring a cold water, it's an okay, still you brought a water. So there's a simple thing. So the current challenge or the current problem that the world is trying to solve through so-called, whether you want to call us AI or a general intelligence, is how can we make the machine to think, act like a human. Now, if that start happens, your competition is no more a human, your competition is a machine. Now, what would you do as a human? Your thinking pattern will change. The AI is going to change the way how humans think. It's going to change. Whether we accept it, we don't accept it. If you accept, adopt, it's a beautiful journey. There is an opportunity for everyone to find something. If you don't accept it, you will be in the journey, but you will slowly eliminate it. That's what we look at AI. That's the reason why we would like to lead it. We would like to be a party to this. So over a period of last 5 to 6 years, We have built a portfolio of around 30 companies in the AI space across various domains. And that's our core focus area at this juncture.
Fantastic. Now I'm going to come back to that because you touched on two things that are very important. One is the impact it's going to have on how people think and the fear that most people have about the ability of AI to not just eliminate jobs, but the machines themselves start to think. So we're going to come back to that. Just hold that thought for a minute because the ethics of AI is perhaps one of the most difficult challenges that the world faces today. But let me get back to you, sir. In the world of finance, I have seen many things that will change. I spent 25 years covering semiconductors and also 25 years in the world of finance. The last 5 years, or maybe let's say in the last 4 years, we have seen incredible innovation. Fintech, blockchain, crypto, challenging the nature of money itself, and now AI. In the hub you have built, and in the DIFC itself, what is the use case? How do you see it playing out for you? But more importantly, I'd like you to speak about the ethics and the regulation of AI, because this is where the world is concerned, and I'd like you to please address that.
Sure. So I think, like any other sector, of course, financial services, the financial services industry is also looking at what could be the implications of AI or what could be the use cases of AI. But I think going back to our earlier discussion, I always make a point that before pinpointing and saying this should be regulated or that should be regulated, I think we're yet to understand what are the implications of AI on a specific product. In financial services in particular, we ourselves and all the big financial institutions that I spend most of my time with, everyone's looking at the use cases of AI, and they want to understand how could it, of course, benefit their businesses or have implications. So I think it's too early to decide that this should be regulated or that should be regulated. Yes, regulated. We ourselves have established, we have created a committee which will actually look at the requirements of the regulations of AI. But I think in particular, just yet, I think regulators should not jump on regulating anything. We should assess, evaluate, and then probably look at regulation if necessary. I think the financial services sector in particular is yet to see the real benefits or implications.
Interesting. And I'm going to just follow up quickly on that because Europe has come up with a rule recently, and it's broad in terms of what regulation means. And you're saying that for now you want to see the industry evolve first before you start to decide.
No, I think. As we should look at it. I think in financial services in particular, we shouldn't jump on regulating
Not yet.
anything. Yeah.
Okay. That's very clear. That's clear. Lakshmi, ethics of AI. If you take a poll in this room and ask people what AI means, I think you're going to have some extreme who believe the machines will wake up one day and take over the world, and those who believe that the machines will remain dumb because humans will always control the machines. Where do you stand on the ethics and the regulation of AI in terms of what it can or cannot do, especially in the comments you made about the ability of machines to start to think like humans? Do you fear a world where sometime in the future machines actually begin to have a mind of their own?
So let's understand AI is just a tool, right? It's just a tool. Now, I always make a statement. A tool in the hand of a fool is still a tool.
Fair enough.
You may invent a wow tool. If you hand it over to a fool, he doesn't know what to do. But the challenge in the current living world, most of the tools or most of the innovations first reaches to people who try to do destructive then constructive. So today, even this conversation of ethical AI is happening because it has penetrated in the early adopters of people trying to use the tool for the destructive purposes than constructive purposes. That's where the regulation comes in. The core responsibility of the regulator is to protect everybody in the ecosystem. So they understand, as a regulator, everybody understand this will be used for a destructive purpose. We have to stop here and make it as a constructive purpose. every AI innovating company has to build in, they have to take their own. I look at other way, what's the value of those founders? Don't look at the value of the innovation. If the value of the founders can be judged very well, then they will automatically understand the value of the responsible building AI. They are the one who is making it. If they have a strong value, if they are family oriented, they will think, how do I protect the families? If they have a large social oriented, they will think, how do I protect the society? If they are financial industry oriented, for a right reason, right cause, they will think, how do I protect the financial industry? So you judge the founders first, even before judging the product. And that's what we do as an organization when we choose an opportunity to be a part of any AI product. We try to understand the founders as much as possible than just understanding the product.
Understood. And I think to the point about the values of the founders, I think that is very, very important, because when people look at what machines can do, cars driving by themselves, people forget that at the end of the day, most of those things, at the end of the day, are tools that enhance productivity. Maybe the driver evolves into something else. But let me switch gears a bit and come back to regulation. And I'm going to go back to the DIFC story, because I was struck about the accelerator position that you have. And I'd like you to tell us a little bit more about two things about the DIFC. Number one, how do you think from here onwards, as a hub, you begin to evolve? And by the way, you have served as an inspiration to many places. My home country, Nigeria, recently tried to build an international finance center in Lagos, and most of the inspiration is the DIFC. How do you see the DIFC itself and your vision over time evolving? And then within the Accelerator Hub, what have you done to bring these companies in? Because I noticed that the growth of the companies have been actually since COVID. And how do you intend to sustain that growth as you start to see competition emerge in other places to attract talent? And in answering that, actually, I think the more important question I'd like you to also address is, what are the immediate risks that you see for a DIFC, especially in the world that we're coming into with technology?
Sure. So I think what we've seen recently, I mean, we saw a huge surge in the startup in the tech ecosystem in Dubai, and that's purely because, I mean, the market before that was quite nascent, and the market was hungry and is hungry. That's why, I mean, it grew at an unparalleled pace and continues to grow. I think from here forward, I think there will be a lot of growth, and a lot of growth would be coming out from the innovation space. And I think we've looked at everything that an ecosystem requires. So I still remember the days when startups in this part of the world could hardly raise $500,000, and where in other parts of the world they would raise $30, $40, $50 million as their initial rounds. I think that touch would no longer is a challenge. There is capital available. There is access to market is available. Corporates do want to partner. Government is supporting, and I think the challenge to get to where we want to get to, I think, is the availability of talent. I think one of the biggest challenges that we see today is to kind of cope up with the requirements or the demand of the market when it comes to talent. It's not that Dubai doesn't have talent. Dubai is probably the best location to be able to attract talent, but I think it's just that the demand is so big that there is a deficit. And to be able to cater to that demand is something that not only Dubai, I think everywhere globally is difficult. And I think in Dubai, we're in the business of attracting talent rather than producing talent, if I may say. And I think we realize that, and we want to, of course, change that, but that doesn't happen overnight. We don't have the Berkeleys, the Stanfords next door that are producing a lot of talent for us. I think it takes time to kind of be in a position where you're producing talent. But I think kudos to the government. They've made it so easy for us to be able to attract talent. And I think Dubai continues to be a place where we're able to attract talent, and a lot of startups are moving. And I think one thing that we really want to do, I mean, going to your question, over the last, let's say, a couple of decades, there's been a lot of front office kind of operations in Dubai and even in the startup ecosystem. But what we want to change is we actually want to bring innovation to Dubai. We actually want startups and tech companies to be innovating in Dubai, and then we want to export these innovations outside Dubai. I think that's a huge push from our side. And it's clear AI is going to be a huge player in that. We're very bullish on AI. And that's why if you look at the news, we've announced that we'll build Dubai's AI and Web3 campus. And the reason we've made that announcement, because we know that there won't be a business that is not going to be looking at AI one way or the other. That's why we said we want to build a campus that is entirely focused on developing this ecosystem, having its producers and consumers under one roof. So I think a lot of our future growth is dependent on innovation, on future technologies, and we're betting on that.
That's a very important point, and I'm going to come to you, Lakshmi, very quickly on that, because there are two philosophies around talent and immigration in particular.
Yes.
In some countries, immigration is a cost. In some countries, immigration is a resource. And I think what you've done is to create a place where people can actually come and be a resource. And I'm going to come back also later on at my closing remarks from you, how you sustain that. But let me switch to you, Lakshmi, for a second and address the same point. Over the next 5 years, maybe 10 years, what do you think are the biggest risks, not just for technology, but in the evolution of artificial intelligence as a field of study and as area of technology application? His Excellency has mentioned talent as his biggest risk short term. What is yours?
So let's put something in facts and figures. None of the technology has penetrated so fast like what AI has done. In the last 18 months, from the date of officially a tool can be used by retail consumer, a mass retail consumer, it's penetrated 1/8 of the world population. More than 1 billion people well aware about AI. More than $550 billion of funds has been allocated or invested into the AI space in the last 24 months. Every country which has got a technology or a digital transformation in the world has announced an AI lab. There is no institute or no country on the digital transformation map that you can see that AI is not a part of their top priority list. And the biggest, every year the World Economic Forum releases a report called Global Risk Report. And if you look at the Global Risk Report in this year, on the January, on the top 3, the AI growth is seen as also as a risk, which is not only seen as a beneficial side, it's also seen as a threat. So given all these things, the next 5 years, like how everyone have a mobile in the hand, and everybody will have a fully loaded AI, a platform in their hand. AI will be in your pocket, both online and offline. Everything will be done through AI. And I want to go back and answer one question you said, will it replace human being? No. It will make the human being more powerful. Those who knows how to use it will find a better way to become a more powerful, more productive. Those who avoid, lay back and wait and watch, they will miss the bus. But they will catch the bus at some point of time.
I know I'm the moderator, I'm not supposed to have my own opinion, but I'm going to explain my own opinion on this matter for a second. And I think on the tools and applicability, one of the best places I've seen AI in use is in medicine, where people are trialing AI general practitioners in places where doctors cannot go. And I think in many ways that has been a force for good. This has been a very fascinating discussion. I'm going to have closing comments from each of the panelists. What would be your message from the DIFC to this distinguished family office roundtable? Many of them here are investors. I'm trying to encourage them to stay the course because there's been challenges in the area of private investments. But what would be your message to everyone in this room about where the DIFC have a chance to plug, but more importantly, how you see the evolution of some of the companies that you have within the DIFC Accelerator Hub?
Sure. I guess I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say, look at the DIFC for your businesses. But But I think in terms of the message, I think from our perspective, we believe AI is going to transform every business. As I said before, there won't be a business that wouldn't be impacted in one way or the other. So I think for each one of us over here, we need to understand what it is, we need to look at it, and we need to try and be associated with it one way or the other.
Thank you very much. Closing remarks from you, sir?
If you haven't invested in AI, if somebody pitches an AI idea to you, put in some money. Still it's too early. Still the train is in the station. Still you can board the train.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, I think this has gone on for some time, and I really want to appreciate Your Excellency Mohammad Al Balooshi and Mr. Lakshmi Naranayan, and to everyone in this room. I think we're about to start a journey that is going to be fascinating. Many years ago, when ATM machines came out, they said they were going to make all tellers useless. Of course, tellers are useless. They got other jobs. AI today is changing many things, but humans control machines. Humans will evolve, and we're all going to become better for it. With that, I'll bring this panel to a close, and I want to thank you all for listening. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.